Among the countless epic chapters of world history, Japan's Sengoku period stands out as a brutal and mesmerizing era, where blood-soaked battlefields forged legends that still echo through time. From the Ashikaga shogunate's collapse in the Onin War to the hard-fought peace under Tokugawa rule, this was an age of chaos, ambition, and endless warfare. It was a time when clashes like Nagashino, where Takeda's cavalry was torn apart by musket fire, Yamasaki, where traitor Akechi Mitsuhide met his end, and Sekigahara, the showdown that redrew Japan's power map, shaped the destiny of a nation. And in the midst of the carnage, larger-than-life figures emerged. Oda Nobunaga, the rule breaker who rewrote the game, Hattori Hanzo, the shadow in the storm, and Miyamoto Musashi, the lone swordsman whose blade knew no equal. Today, we step into a bold reimagining of this chaotic era through Assassin's Creed Shadows. This game follows the intertwined fates of two powerful figures, Fujibayashi Naoe, an Aiga shinobi driven by vengeance, and Yasuke, the real-life African samurai whose presence shattered expectations in feudal Japan. Their journey is more than just combat. It's a dive into hidden truths, personal reckonings, and the shifting tides of history. If you're ready to dive deeper into this wild chapter of Japan's past, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and follow our Assassin's Creed Shadows series. We've got some epic stories coming your way. Years ago, Diogo, a man with skin as dark as night, arrived in the land of sea as an outsider among outsiders. His journey led him to the court of Lord Oda Nobunaga, the most powerful warlord the land had ever known. Diogo was presented as the servant of Father Valignano, a European priest seeking permission for his missionaries to move freely in Nobunaga's domains. Valignano offered a finely crafted European chair as a gift, but Nobunaga's attention was drawn not to the priest but to Diogo, whose presence sparked curiosity in the warlord's court. Diogo, introduced as a mere sandal-bearer and bodyguard, stood silently as Valignano negotiated. But when Nobunaga's piercing gaze assessed him, Diogo revealed a secret. He understood the language of the land, a fact even Valignano was unaware of. This revelation stunned the court. Nobunaga, intrigued by Diogo's warrior instincts, his eyes had scanned the room for threats, decided to test him. A warrior whose spirit can inspire armies, Nobunaga declared, sparing Valignano's priests but demanding Diogo remain in his service. Diogo, torn between his role as a slave and his potential as a legend, was thrust into a dangerous path where he would either rise to greatness or perish. Nobunaga's court was a place of power and peril. He mused about the Christians, who had proven fair traders, and the Buddhists, who opposed him. Diogo, caught in this web of politics, admitted to being Valignano's bodyguard but also his slave. Nobunaga, sensing a spark of defiance in Diogo, warned that worse men awaited him. As Diogo's fate hung in the balance, the memory of this encounter fractured, trailing off into smaller fragments, as if someone, or something, didn't want the full truth revealed. September 30th, 1581. At Hijiyama Castle, Fujibayashi Nagato and his daughter Naoe stood high above, watching the Oda army march in a blazing line through the night. Hanzo was right, Nagato whispered, his eyes heavy with dread. The father and daughter rushed to join Momochi Sandayu to prepare for battle. Before parting, Nagato handed Naoe a hidden short sword strapped to her wrist. "This is the key to the mountain crypt. Protect the treasure box at all costs," he instructed. Naoe nodded and vanished into the darkness. At the crypt, Naoe found the box, the soul of Iga, but suddenly, a samurai in a white mask attacked. She fought fiercely, managing to tear off his mask, but a heavy mace struck her face, knocking her unconscious. The box was stolen. Nagato arrived to find Naoe sprawled on the ground. Despite his own wounds, he hoisted her onto a horse and rode to Tomiko's farm for shelter and treatment. Waking beside her father, Naoe found Tomiko tending to them. Fortunately, Nagato had brought the mask of the enemy. Tomiko recognized it. Its owner might be at Katano Castle. Without hesitation, Naoe set out. At Katano, she infiltrated the fortress and confronted the masked samurai, Ido Yoshiro, one of the 12 members of the Onrio, or Vengeful Spirits. After a tense battle, Naoe slew him and reclaimed the red treasure box. but as she fled, a gunshot rang out. Naoe collapsed, facing 2 more Onrio members. Exhausted, she couldn't stop them from taking the box. At that moment, Nagato charged in, knocking off the mask of one attacker and severing his ear. But as a dark fog descended, the remaining 9 Onrio appeared, targeting the box. Nagato, though gravely wounded, fought to the death. He fell under a hail of arrows and a katana's strike. The red-armored samurai moved to finish him, but the airless one stopped him. Let him die slowly. The Onrio leader agreed, and they retreated with the box. Now, clutching her dying father, wept. With his final breath, Nagato whispered, "Follow the blade. Remember the melody. I'm always with you." She dreamed her beautiful life in the part. In the quiet of her recovery at Makino Odera Temple, Naoe slipped into a dream of 2 years past, when she was still a young shinobi in Iga's ninja village. Under her father Nagato's guidance, each morning was filled with the clash of swords, the art of stealth, and the precise throw of kunai. She could still feel the weight of the blade in her hand, her father's calm voice urging her to focus. On October 6th, 1579, the dream took her to Aunt Matsu's garden, where she was pulling weeds under the old woman's watchful eye. Matsu had tasked her with a mission: investigate who, or what, was stealing crops from her fields at night. "Beast or spirit, find it," Matsu said, pointing her toward the old watchtower for a better view. Naoe climbed up, scanning the land. In the moonlight, she spotted figures creeping through the crops. Not spirits, but outsiders, Ashigaru stragglers from beyond Iga. She confronted them, her kunai ready. "Who are you?" she demanded. They sneered, calling Iga's people sneaks and hermits, and warned of a coming battle, hinting that Oda Nobunaga's forces were closing in. Naoe drove them off, her heart pounding with unease. Returning to Matsu's hut, she reported what she'd learned. Matsu set a bowl of miso shiru before her, the steam warming her face. "Eat, child. You'll need strength," Matsu said, her voice steady but heavy. As Naoe took her first sip, Nagato burst in, his face taut with urgency. "The Oda army is near, led by Nobukatsu. They're coming for the village." The words echoed the Ashigaru's warning, turning her stomach cold. Matsu's eyes met hers, seeing the fire within. Naoe wanted to fight, but Nagato urged her to stay safe with Matsu. "I'll return," he promised, then vanished into the dusk. Left behind, Naoe paced restlessly, her mind a storm of worry. The village felt too quiet, the air thick with the threat of war. Matsu watched her, then stood. "Enough waiting," she said, grabbing her old katana from a hidden corner. She took Naoe's hand and led her out into the forest, away from the village's edge. "You're no carp to be caught," Matsu whispered, her voice fierce. "Hide here and be ready." In the dream, Naoe clutched the katana Matsu gave her, the weight of it grounding her as the sounds of approaching war drums faded into the fog of memory. Then, Naoe awoke at Makino Odera Temple, tended by the monk Soren. Beside her was Junjiro, the boy who saved her. Her severe wounds kept her there for days. During this time, she learned to paint from Junjiro. His drawings included a female demon resembling Naoe, chilling her. Yet she focused on sketching the masked samurai to sear her enemies into memory. Junjiro found a broken Tsuchibue flute among Nagato's belongings and repaired it. When Naoe played it, the melody evoked nights when her father played to ease his longing for her mother. Like the wind. The flute song reignited her blood debt against the Onrio. Once healed, Naoe bid farewell to Soren and Junjiro, returning to Tomoko's farm. She revealed that the samurai she killed wasn't a lone Ronin, but part of the Onrio group. Showing Tomoko her drawings, she vowed to hunt them all to avenge her father. Tomiko agreed to help, offering her land as a base for Naoe's assassinations. As they planned, Soren and Junjiro arrived. Junjiro insisted on staying with Naoe, while Soren set off on a pilgrimage. Examining Naoe's sketches, Tomiko recognized the earless samurai, seen months earlier in Sakai, tied to a clash with Kiyonoyo's men at Honganji. Another drawing showed a samurai with a gold-inlaid musket. "Sakai's market," Tomiko said. "It's full of gun merchants. You'll find leads there or with Kiyonoyo at Honganji." With her father's sword and flute in hand, Naoe prepared to track the Onrio, swearing to settle the score for her father and Iga. As Assassin's Creed Shadows opens, Fujibayashi Naoe fortifies Tomiko's farm as her hideout, rallying allies like Junjiro, Soren, and Tomiko. Leading with resolve, she hunts Waka, the Onryo's leader, while honoring her father's legacy. Yasuke, the enigmatic samurai serving Nobunaga, remains a wild card, friend or foe. The Red Box, Masked Samurai, and Nobunaga's schemes drive Naoe's quest for vengeance. What lies within the box? Who controls the Onryo? Will revenge cost her humanity? Set in the turbulent Sengoku era, Naoe's oath clashes with the nation's fate, igniting an epic saga of blood and honor.